Okay, so let me give you 3 Stoic rules for a wealthy life, because who doesn't want to be wealthy? I certainly wanted to become rich and wealthy because, we grew up with nothing and living from paycheck to paycheck, and my only goal and dream in life was to become wealthy. So I didn't have to worry about that anymore. I didn't want to have fancy cars or whatever, or be famous or anything like that. Just want to have peace of mind. So in this video, I'll share 3 rules with you to become wealthy and live like a Stoic. So these are more philosophical rules that you can apply to everything in life. Okay, so let's get started. I am Darius Faru. I am the author of The Stoic Path to Wealth, which is about how you can apply the philosophy of Stoicism to building wealth in the stock market. And everything that I'm about to share with you today, I have applied and I am applying. So the first rule is to demand the best of yourself, and it is inspired by a quote from Epictetus. He said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Very simple. I love this, and I referred to it many times in conversations, interviews, whatever, because it's so simple, straightforward, and it captures the message of Stoicism perfectly. Because what is Stoicism? It's a way of life, it's a framework for living. And it's the simplest philosophy in the world because you can summarize it in one sentence, which is focus on what you control. It's that simple. A lot of folks overcomplicate it. Um, but it's really a way of life. So, demanding the best of yourself is a philosophy that will shine through every single area of your life, whether it's your health, demand the best health of yourself, whether it's in your relationships, demand the best relationships, um, in your career, demand the best work of yourself. You see, you can apply this everywhere. Now, what does this rule do to you in terms of wealth? So think about the economy that we live in. We live in a winner takes all world. The winner, or I should say winners, in every area or in every industry or field are the ones who make the most amount of money. And a lot of people have explained this in different ways. The Pareto principle, Price's law, which I've done a video on as well, basically say that a small group takes the majority of the rewards. You need to accept that because this is how the world works. As a Stoic, you always work with nature, right? You work with the rules of life. You don't work against them. So Epictetus emphasized the importance of striving for excellence and holding yourself to very high standards because that leads to a good life. And in our economy, that also leads to better rewards. That's what you want, right? That's what we all want. We want to do work that we are rewarded for, but also gives us inner rewards, inner satisfaction. Because if you have a job that pays well, after a while, you feel frustrated. You don't like it. It doesn't do anything for you, right? So um, find a way that you can basically provide a lot of value, get a lot of inner satisfaction, and also earn more. And how can you do that? By focusing on your strengths, because it's very difficult to improve your weaknesses and to become the best. But it is possible to look within yourself and find what you are already good at and bring that to world class. Now, you don't necessarily have to be number one, but you have to play around in the top 1%. Because if you're not, it's just going to be very difficult to earn more. And I'm not talking about earning millions of dollars or whatever, right? I'm talking about earning more than average, because that's what you want. And it is 100% possible as long as if you have high standards, if you demand the best. Because most people don't demand the best of themselves. They just go through life and not having a clear vision, not working hard for it. So you can win from those people by simply striving for excellence and not competing against them, but just trying to become the best version of yourself. And this is one of the most important lessons of Stoicism. So, rule 2 is misfortune is actually fortune. So, rule 2, misfortune is fortune. Think about it. When bad things happen to you, you always think it's the end of the world. But later on, you look back and you think, oh, wow, I learned a lot. So your misfortunes are actually wealth. There are lessons. There are things that improve your life or improve yourself, make you stronger. This is inspired by a very famous Marcus Aurelius quote that has been used to death in recent years, but I'm going to read it to you anyway because it is good. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, again, it's a lifestyle, right? Like looking at life as a Stoic basically means that you see everything as an opportunity to get better. And I understand, like no one, that misfortunes are very bad when you're in the middle of them. Growing up, like I said, we didn't have much, but we did have each other, and we had best intentions, and we had kind of a vision, right? Like my parents knew that getting educated for me and my brother was the way to break free from that negative spiral or break free from the place where we were, right? Or where all of our family members were at that time, because a lot of people are stuck where they are because they are the average, right, quote unquote, of the 5 people that they hang out with the most. Another thing that's been beat to death on the internet for in the past years. But what it means is that you are the product of your environment, right? So if people in your environment drink alcohol every day and don't work out and complain and have this very negative view on life, it's very easy that you also adopt that same view. How can you break free from that? In today's world, it's actually simpler than ever by reading books or watching videos, etc., and adopting those people that you want to be like as your mentors. And looking at the bad things that happen to you as fuel or as wealth is the quickest way to turn your life around and use everything that happens to you for good, to do good. And this is a rule that I love and that I always apply and I always have to remind myself, because no matter where you are in life, bad things will keep happening. Obstacles will come on your path, but if you use them to become better, it ultimately will lead to more wealth in the future, because you use those lessons and you improve yourself, provide more value, whatever, you use it to make better decisions, and that comes with more wealth, more experience, etc. So you keep progressing in life. All right, so rule number 3, thinking about loss makes you tougher. So we're going to continue this path of misfortune and focusing on the negatives, and we're going to turn them into positives, because I think that that's what life is, right? It's just basically dealing with one obstacle after the other. And if you get really good at that, you can have a good life. Let's put it that way. So let me read a quote from Seneca to you. He said that he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Very powerful idea. You can basically neutralize negativity by meditating on it beforehand. So when it happens, it doesn't catch you off guard and it doesn't harm you. Very powerful idea. How can you do this? When you invest in the stock market, or when you invest, period, in real estate or anything, you should regularly meditate on taking losses. So I own real estate and I also invest in the stock market. So when it comes to real estate, I occasionally think about my tenants calling me and saying, yeah, the dishwasher doesn't work anymore. We have leaking leakages or whatever. The toilet is clogged, whatever, right? I imagine them not paying. When it comes to the stock market, I imagine stocks going down for by 50%. Think to myself, oh wow, what if my portfolio is cut in half? And then I think to myself, okay, fine. I'll be fine because I don't need that money because I invested it for the long term and I rely on other sources of income. And I have a simple life. I always live way below my means. So I realize it's okay, you know. If the tenant doesn't pay, we'll have a conversation. If it doesn't work out, there are solutions. If stuff breaks down, I'll use my funds that I've put aside for repairs to cover that. I can raise the rent next year, etc. Right? So I come up with these ways to neutralize these obstacles or threats or bad things, and I realize it's fine. So mentally, you become tougher. You become more at ease. You become more peaceful, and then you can really direct your energy to increasing your wealth. And I think that is why a lot of folks stagnate at some point in their career. They have more responsibilities and life gets really tough, and then they get into this perpetual state of fear and anxiety. What if I lose my money? What if I lose my job? What if this and what if that? But as a Stoic, you don't worry about those things. You neutralize them, right? You see it as a way of life. Rule number 3, think about loss regularly, proactively, so you become tougher when bad things happen. It doesn't do you any harm, and you just stay the course, right? You just keep going. You keep moving forward, and this is the key, right? We do all of these things. Okay, 3 Stoic rules for a wealthy life. We demand the best of ourselves. We treat misfortune as fortune. We meditate on loss. We do all of these things because we free up mental energy to focus on growth. And this is, I think, why people in today's world are not progressing. It's because they're glued to their screens. They're focusing on negativity. They're focusing on their anxiety. And they don't have the mental capacity to grow, to improve, to become wealthier, to invest. And also to just part ways with their money because they are so attached to it. I've been there as well, you know, like I've been through all of these phases, but the moment I created some indifference between me and my money and also obstacles in the world, I became more at ease. Right? And when you are more at ease, you can really start focusing on growth. And that's what ultimately leads to a wealthy life. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. And until the next video, take care.